My father had always told me growing up to never open my eyes when it was a full moon. He claims that there was a spirit that lurked at night, preying on people who were awake past the witching hour. I never believed those silly stories he told me. I thought it was stupid. I never believed in urban legends. I really wished I did. It was May 26, 2002. It was going to be a full moon tonight. I always loved staring up at the sky at night. The stars twinkling, the sounds of owls. It always gave me a sense of calming. But tonight, it would be much more different. I was sitting on the couch watching a movie on the TV. I had a bowl of popcorn on my lap and was heavily invested in the movie. "It's getting late, Kira," he said, crossing his arms. "It's nearly midnight. Please go to bed." "No, Dad, I'm watching a movie." He frowned. I responded, leaning my body to try and see the screen. "Kira, listen. I told you many times what happens whenever you're awake this late." He stared at me. "I don't want it to hurt you. Dad, come on. Are you serious?" I held back a chuckle. "There's no way you actually believe that." "I'm not going to ask you again, Kira. Go to bed," I smirked. His face faltered, and it contorted into a more agitated look. I rolled my eyes, turning the TV off. I put the bowl of popcorn on the coffee table, frowning. I said before turning around to walk up the stairs. I walked into my room and shut the door behind me. I was going to go back downstairs when he went to bed to continue my movie. After all, I did have to rent it from Blockbuster. I wasn't going to not watch it at all. Plus, it was a horror movie. I loved them, especially at night. So, whenever I heard my father's door shut, I waited for a minute. Fine. I looked up to stare out the window and saw a face. A deformed human face. I stumbled back, my heart racing. The face was pale, almost translucent, with hollow dark eyes that seemed to bore into my soul. Its mouth was twisted into a grotesque grin, revealing sharp, uneven teeth. For a moment I was frozen, my mind struggling to process what I was seeing. Then the face moved closer to the glass and I could see its breath fogging up the window. It was real. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. I forced myself to look away, stumbling backward into the living room. My breathing was shallow and quick, my heart pounding so loudly it was all I could hear. I had to get to my dad. He'd know what to do. I turned to run up the stairs, but my foot caught on the air, sending me sprawling onto the floor. Pain shot up my leg, but I didn't care. I scrambled to my feet, but then I heard it, the front door creaking open. I whipped around, my eyes wide with terror. The door slowly inched open, the hinges groaning in protest. A cold draft blew in, chilling me to the bone. I took a step back, glancing toward the stairs, but it was too late. A figure slipped through the door, moving with an unnatural grace. It was the girl I saw in the window. She was inside the house. What do I do? It groaned again, the voice chilling and ethereal, echoing in my mind. I took a step towards it and its grin widened. I don't know why I started walking towards it, but my body felt so light. I was drawn to it, like a moth to a flame. I took another step, my mind screaming at me to stop, but my body moved on its own. The spirit's grin widened, revealing more of those sharp, uneven teeth. A sense of dread washed over me, but I was powerless to resist. I now stood in front of whatever it was, and its eyes bore into my very being. Kira. The figure groaned, floating towards me as I froze in place. It slowly inched towards me, holding out a pale hand. It beckoned me, wanting me to come closer. It felt like I was in a trance. The world around me seemed to blur as I was drawn toward the figure. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs felt heavy, rooted to the spot. The spirit's eyes locked onto mine, and I could feel a strange pull, like it was reaching into my very soul. Kira. It whispered, its hand extended farther towards me. I raised my own, placing my hand on its cold, dead fingers. The chills spread through me, freezing my blood and numbing my senses. For a moment the world seemed to fade away, and I was consumed by darkness. The spirit's hollow eyes glowed brighter and its grin grew impossibly wide. "Come with me." It groaned as it began to lead me out of the house. Yes, Kira. But before we could leave, a bright light flooded the room, breaking my trance. I was yanked backward, away from the spirit's grasp. I fell onto the floor, frozen in place. The spirit shrieked, recoiling from the light. It vanished into thin air, just like that. It left me spooked. "What just happened?" my father said, his voice shaking with relief. He knelt beside me, pulling me into a tight embrace. I'm fine. What was that? Are you okay?" "That was the spirit I warned you about. You should have listened." He helped me to my feet, his expression a mixture of relieved and grave. "I didn't believe you." "I'm so sorry, Dad. It's okay, Kira. The important thing is that you're safe now. But you have to listen to me from now on. These things, they're real, and they're dangerous." "I will, Dad. I promise. Let's get some sleep. We'll talk more about this in the morning." As we climbed the stairs, I couldn't help but glance back at the window. I was half expecting to see that terrifying face again, but there was nothing. Just the peaceful night outside, the full moon casting a gentle glow over everything. That night, I lay in bed, unable to sleep. The events of the night playing in my head. I shut my eyes, expelling a breath I didn't know I had pent up. It was still shocking for me. The spirit was real. It was real. My father's warnings were no longer stories I refused to listen to. It was a matter of life, or whatever happens to someone who was whisked away by that thing. But sometimes I still hear that spirit's whisper and the small taps on my bedroom window. A cold hand on my shoulder sometimes. It wraps around my neck and I choke. Kira, please like and subscribe for more.